There we go. Okay, everyone out there, this is so exciting. This is our very first Ungex live with a very special person. As I mentioned previously on the live videos, we're going to be following a customer's treatment journey with our products, and I'm so delighted to have him here and welcome him to Ungex and the world of Demodex mites and our Facebook support group. So, everyone, this is Renol. His name's Renol, but I like to call him Renol, which he appreciates me calling him that. But his name is Renol Ratchford, and Renol's going to talk about what he's been going through, really, to begin with, like his start of his treatment journey. So, hi, Renol. Welcome. It's so lovely to finally see your face. We've been chatting for a while now, so please, if you'd love to share what you've been going through, that would be so appreciated.
So, can you hear me well?
Can hear you very well. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
So, as you know, as we're talking now and going through this process, they're moving on my body and my head right now. So
yeah. And it's nighttime there too, so they would be playing up a lot more.
Absolutely. So I started this new journey of mite discovery, or this I call it Demodex or Demodex.
Yeah, it's all called different things. I think some people like to call them demons as well. So, which is very true. Very true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I started this particular journey June of last year in 2020. I actually started. I was living in my one of my best friend's home, and it's an older home in Dallas, Texas, in an area that's very historic and have a lot of landmarks there. In Oak Cliff is the name of the little city of in Dallas, and so we were remodeling the house. Now he stayed upstairs and I stayed downstairs.
Yep.
So he had been living there for about 10 years. And ever since he's lived there, he shared that there were these cats that would live underneath the house. So I'm like, okay, that's cute. So I would see these little stray cats run across my window,
Yeah.
So I really thought about it. And then he also has 2 pit bulls, and the neighbor next door also has a dog.
Wow, like a menagerie. Yeah.
So in June, I was just laying in my bed, and then all of a sudden, I just felt something just continuously biting at me. And so, of course, June in Dallas is extremely hot, so I had an air conditioner going on. And so I just thought maybe it was something that was on the outside coming on in the inside, just disturbing me and disrupting me.
Yeah.
And so it just continuously started happening periodically. I would just be laying there watching television, and bam, something would start biting me.
Yeah.
So I really got concerned when I have this like smart light bulb that changes colors and everything like that.
Yeah.
And so I changed it to a particular color. I don't know if it was blue or red, one of those colors. And it just really started aggressively like attacking me and everything. And I was like, oh my God, something is really going on.
Yeah.
So I shared with my my housemate, and he was a little bit empathetic about the situation, and he was like, it'll be okay. It's hot outside. Critters do come inside the house.
Exactly. Yeah. A lot of animals. So yeah.
Right. So I just kind of like shunned it away. It was like, okay, yeah, that's true. So we're not going to worry too much about it.
Yeah.
So it just continuously started happening, and it was an ongoing agitation of something biting me, and I could not even see it.
Yeah.
So I've tried things like, of course, doing that spring cleaning, like
of course. Yeah. Dousing the house and pesticides and
right. I did
stuff.
that.
Yeah.
I had a what do you call that? Not an aloe vera flower. Oh, I forgot the name of it. But oh, a citronella plant. That's what it was.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
even had a citronella plant, thinking maybe there were like baby mosquitoes or something like that.
Of course. Not knowing what it is. Yeah.
Right. And so I found different home remedies online and everything. So
Mhm.
I've like exhausted everything. And so it occurred to me that sometimes it would continuously happen after it rained. So then
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so I thought about it. I
Mhm.
said, well, maybe, there's a collective body of water that's underneath the house. And, it's a breeding factor for
Breeding
mosquitoes.
ground. Exactly. And so many bugs and things love water. That's unfortunately the nature of humid, wet, damp places. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
So we thought it was that, and then as time progressed, June, July, August, still happening. So we came to the conclusion that it probably was fleas, since
Okay.
the kids living up under the house, the
Of
two
course.
dogs outside, and the dogs next door.
Yeah.
So again, I went into my cleaning mode and just started
Yeah. Cleaning everything. I bet. I bet.
washed all my clothes, and just as these drapes are right here behind me, I had the
Yeah.
same similar drapes in my room. So as
Mm.
soon as I began to take the drapes down to wash them, a swarm of something came and just attacked my entire body,
Oh.
and it just started gnawing at my
Mhm.
skin.
Yeah.
And so that had never happened to me. So of course I was really frantic and I went crazy and ballistic.
I
And
bet.
I like took off all my clothes and ran to the shower and just started scrubbing myself.
Yes, of
What
course,
is
of
on
course.
here?
What's
So
on there? Yeah, of course. You would have felt like you were in
yeah,
a horror movie.
right, exactly. So I took my phone or what have you, and I just kind of like zeroed in onto my skin and stuff, and you could see like something clear, but it
Mm.
was like you could see it just digging into my skin or trying to you know uh, claw into my skin or what
Yeah,
have you.
like burrow and yeah, of course, of
Yeah,
course.
right, right. And so I just started screaming and everything. So everybody came down, and it was a big ordeal. They said there's nothing on
Mhm.
my body, and I'm like, yes, it is. You don't understand. It was all in my mouth and my tongue, again, just gnawing and eating and burrowing into the
Oh,
skin. It was
yeah,
just like, so long story short,
yeah.
uh, ran down the street to the hospital because no one wanted to call the ambulance, and
Ridiculous.
yeah, it was just really, really a sad situation, because no one believed me. Now, my two friends that were there visiting me,
Yeah.
um, saw it themselves. They knew, they was like, we see it, but
Mm.
everybody else just totally ignored me and everything, and I was having convulsions and I was foaming at the mouth.
Horrible. Oh, goodness,
No,
Renal.
no one believed me. So it was a horrendous
Horrible. I
beginning,
bet.
yeah,
I
in my journey with this situation that I'm dealing with now.
Yeah, of course. Can I ask, Renal, like over that course of time, did you, because with demotics, because they are so hard to see, to the visible eye, and a big thing, you just spoke about was like with demotics mites, as I probably have mentioned before, especially on my videos, is that unfortunately they are a very common mite. Everyone has them, and I think that's probably the biggest disappointment is when people go to try and get treated for anything, or say I've got mites or something on my body. People
Right.
just dismiss it as, oh, it's all in your head, it's not real, you're making it up. And especially environment is that there's so many environmental bugs and stuff like that. So it's a real plethora of things that love the skin. And as you said, the environment is a massive thing. And, from that initial stage, you know, and I was going to ask Rena, was there anyone else experiencing the same problems that you were in the house where you live? No.
No, I was the only person. So it was myself living in the entire bottom floor, and then
Right.
my housemates lived upstairs,
Yeah.
and then we had other people that lived in the garage behind us, behind the
Yeah.
house. But I was the only one that
It was really
that
affected. Yeah, was really singled out. And look, unfortunately, Renal, the big thing with Demodex is that a lot of people just become a magnet, and it could be because of your immune system, how your skin is in general. I was going to say, Renal, like with your skin, would you say that you've had rashes from it, or itching, primarily itching, or
Well, not so much itching. It was
yeah,
just the
the
abrasion,
biting?
right? The bite, the
Yeah,
dots and everything, the pimples
yeah,
or what have
of
you. And
course.
like really just like agitating. And
Yeah,
so when they started sprouting as they're doing right now,
yeah, yeah.
you could just see this mist of something just like floating.
Coming.
And
Yeah,
I'm like, this is really a big issue, and this is a really big problem that
of
that
course. Yeah,
I
and the fact it's been ongoing for some time now, Renal too, is just another indication that, you know, unfortunately with demotics, they breed, and because you've been constantly exposed to that, they're probably most likely, cross transferring, you're reinfesting yourself, you're in that environment. So it's really hard to control them, basically.
yes,
um, which is, I think, is the biggest problem for a lot of people. And I think for your story, Renal, it's about because your skin looks quite, even though I'm not up close, but it does look quite good. I know you said you've got some dryness like happening and stuff like that. So
yeah, and I've always been, as we say here, fair skinned
yeah, yeah,
person or a light skinned person, and I'm always outdoors. I love the outdoors. I love the sun or what have you, but
yeah, yeah,
how I never get dark. So this
yeah,
is just, I'm from New York too, so I'm
yeah,
from the northeast eastern part of the United States. So um, my skin has always been like lovely, as you would say.
yeah, 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 totally.
So
But
that's
it's
why
like,
I knew
sorry,
that
good.
something was going on. When I
Yes.
seeing and feeling the indifference with my skin.
Yeah, of course, Randall. Can I ask, a lot of people I ask, what have you, the big thing that also can lead to, I guess, making yourself a host for them. Have you been using a lot of stuff on your skin, like previously?
Well, so I really hadn't used a whole lot of creams or anything like that.
Okay. Yep.
However, I use different brands like Axe body wash,
Sure.
lotions, cocoa butter,
Yep.
things. So, and I use those products because I naturally like sweat so like
Of
profusely.
course.
I want
Yeah.
I could be in a rush or really like overheated or something.
Something.
I'll
Yeah,
just
of
start pouring.
course. Yeah, yeah, and then sweat, producing sweat, and because these Demodex mites is primarily they feed off that sebum and oil. So when people are producing more oil, more sweat, and more heat, they just love those areas as well. And I think for your story, Renal, is that your skin sounds quite tolerant, but it's just unfortunately, you've just been a magnet in this horrible environment where you've been living, unfortunately. Um, I was going to say, Reynold, is there any other questions before we sort of get into, using the regime and how you came to us?
So I really don't have any questions because upon meeting you, I did my research on what were these critters or what have you, and so let me back say that in my initial journey through this process, I did go to the hospital, um,
Yes.
the emergency room several times, and so the first diagnosis was scabies. So
Yes.
they gave me medication, the permethrin cream,
Yep.
put on my body, used that. There was
Yep.
no changes. I did a second dose or a second treatment.
Of course.
still the same symptoms and everything. And so I was like, okay, doc, this is
Yeah.
still happening on my skin, you know.
Yeah.
So they tried to prescribe me another, the same cream again and go through
Yeah.
another treatment. That, and there was no help with it.
Yeah. Did you
There's,
feel like, did it sort of help you? Because I find a lot of people I talk to, it can help for a short time. Did it stop a lot of that movement or that sensation, or just really you found it didn't really do much at all?
yeah, it kind of like maybe stops for a half a day,
Yeah.
but at night, you know, that's when it started
Yeah.
up. And the one thing, and this is really interesting, especially when I started using the products
Yeah.
about days ago, is that these mice are smart. So it's like
Yes.
when you attack it on the
Yeah.
body or what have you, or their lip,
Exactly.
they
That's
really
it.
get aggressive, you know,
Yes.
and attacking. And so when I did the permethrin cream and I did the ivermectin, went through this process of just all this
Trying everything, I
yeah,
bet.
explosion of mice
Yeah.
bursting out of my body,
Yeah. Yeah.
they started to become really, really aggressive. You know, so
Yeah. And
it was
yeah, I was gonna say Renol, and it's funny, and I like a lot of people when it comes to these mites and skin mites is when they start to die, the opposite is actually happening. So there's high potential that they have killed some on the surface, and that's why they go crazy and you feel worse. But unfortunately, that means it does mean they're dying. But with these type of mites, the reason why a lot of things don't work, as you said, is that the eggs are the root of the problem. They're so
yeah,
deep in the skin, and that's why you get, the burrowing and the biting because they're so deep in the hair follicles.
absolutely.
Yeah, and Renal, I was gonna say, and also most importantly, we haven't paid Renal to talk about our products or anything. He just he'd been suffering and we got chatting, so I was so happy to have you share your personal experience and what you're
Yeah.
going through.